morning, everyone. This is my presentation called From Aspire to Hire, Navigating Your First Cyber Job. My name is Sully Vickers. I'm a cyber researcher and developer at Leidos and a cybersecurity and information assurance student at WGU. So, first off, we're going to go over our agenda today. We're first going to discuss who I am, my career trajectory so far, as well as what I'm actually doing in my job. Second, we're going to go over potential education paths for you, as well as other resources. We're going to go through ideas for staying up to date on emerging technologies, techniques for marketing yourself, networking strategies, and how to land your first job, as well as ace your job interview. So, my career trajectory. First off, I started my cybersecurity studies in June of 2022. I'm completely self-taught, and my primary resource was TryHackMe, as well as other CTF resources. In July of 2022, I started competing in various CTF challenges, most notably US Cyber Challenge, which I highly recommend you guys check out. I'm actually a teacher's assistant for that, as well as in charge of organizing our quarterly webinars. In January of 2023, I started my first part-time job at MetaCTF. I was in charge of auditing their cyber range, as well as reconstructing their privacy policy to comply with GDPR and California privacy standards. In April of 2023, so last year, I spoke at BSidesCharm for the first time. I talked about my experiences of entering the cybersecurity field as a 17-year-old. And in May of 2023, I spoke at the SANS AI Summit, where I gave a lightning talk on the impact of emerging technologies on education, such as AI and other things of that sort. And in June, I actually graduated high school, and I also started a summer internship in application security at Markel. In October, I started my bachelor's degree at WGU, and in November, where I'm at now, I started my job as a cyber researcher and developer full-time at Leidos. So, what am I doing in my job? My primary responsibility is working on the CyberSphere program. SPHERE stands for Simulated Production Environment for Adversarial Response. So what is CyberSphere? CyberSphere is a fully functional cyber range in which it goes through the full chain of attack. I'm in charge of maintaining this, as well as giving trainings to government agencies and other Leidos customers. I was also on the proposal team for the tech approach to the Department of Homeland Security's Network, Cyber, and Cloud Services Request for Proposal. So let's go over educational options. I mean, obviously, we have our traditional option of pursuing a bachelor's degree, going to an on-site college, just your general four-year program. And recently, colleges have started introducing fully online programs in which they're self-paced, similar to the one I'm in. I find this extremely beneficial as I get kind of frustrated in a general classroom setting. I tend to learn at different paces than other people. Some examples of these colleges are WGU, University of Maryland Global Campus, and Purdue. You can also pursue certifications, such as those provided by CompTIA and SANS. You can also often find free resources and free vouchers, depending on if you're looking in the right places. There's also free online materials, something I strongly suggest as being self-taught myself. I would recommend TryHackMe as well as Hack the Box for those that are more advanced. There's also, as we know, YouTube that has thousands of online resources of people just going through and demonstrating how to troubleshoot basic cyber issues, as well as penetration testing and other jobs. There also is the military route. This is a more unique route, I guess. You get to do the infamous gray hat hacking, in which you can do things that normal civilians can't do, such as attack other countries, and you'll honestly get a more superior education rather than just pursuing your basic private sector job. There also is something called CyberCorps, which is a scholarship for service program in which they completely pay your college tuition. They give you a full stipend, so that way you can support yourself, while you're in college, because you have other expenses. And then in addition to that, you repay them by working for the DoD for X amount of years, and you're actually paid while you're working for the DoD. So in addition to getting free college, you get a full-time job, straight out, guaranteed full-time job, and you get paid for it. So you get that necessary experience you need straight out of college. I am not a part of this program. However, I definitely recommend it. I mean, it's kind of, seems like a no-brainer to me. So for veterans in US government, there's a program called Fed VTE, which is a virtual training environment. It's provided by CISA. This is open to, all veterans and other government personnel. There's also Syracuse University's Onward to Opportunity program. It's free for transitioning service members, current military personnel, as well as veterans and military spouses. They offer certification training, and I believe they will pay for one of your certifications. Something I just learned about yesterday is VetSec. They're actually upstairs if you want to check them out. They offer education, employment services, and allow you to network with other veterans. Ideas for staying up to date on tech. Obviously, as new technologies are being created, new vulnerabilities will be introduced. You want to stay up to date on tech so that way you can stand out within your field. For example, Microsoft offers free quantum computing learning in which you can learn Q#, and they give you free credits for Azure Quantum so you can run your own quantum programs. There are also many Google and Amazon generative AI courses. They're just with a quick Google search, you can find thousands of these courses. And you can also create personal generative AI projects, running off of a GPU or using a cloud service provider with free credits that are available. And there are also different programs in which you can run it off of your CPU. Something that's extremely important in cybersecurity and people often miss is marketing yourself. Something I suggest you do is create a brand and make yourself stand out. Find something unique about yourself that differentiates you from the rest of the crowd. For example, something I often leverage is my age. There aren't many 18-year-olds that have a full-time job in cybersecurity. But for example, you could be a career switcher, and you may have an interesting career path. You may have been an ex-teacher, and something in addition to that you can do is produce content, such as speaking at conferences or being on podcasts. And you can actually talk about what your career transition was coming into cybersecurity. This may be a good option for you if you don't necessarily have a lot of experience, but it will continue to get you out there. Compete for awards. You can compete in CTF competitions and other cybersecurity competitions to receive recognition for the hard work that you've done. This will allow you to meet several hiring managers, as I know lots of CTF programs will give you a pipeline to doing that, such as US Cyber Challenge. You also need to practice your soft skills. As many of you know, majority of us are nerds, and we aren't inherently extroverts. So something you can do is participate in Toastmasters and practice your public speaking skills, or go to local meetups, so that way you can get out of your comfort zone. For example, me up here speaking is not something that I'm overly great at. However, I like to put myself out there and do things that I may not overly enjoy, I guess, if that makes sense. Networking strategies. Congratulations, since you're in this room right now, you're actually at a conference, believe it or not. And so conferences are obviously a great tool for meeting new people. Something I like to do is if I show up to a talk early and I'm sitting next to someone I don't know, I like to introduce myself. For example, I will ask them what their current career path is like. Maybe they're studying, and I'll ask for advice as well, and maybe even ask for their LinkedIn to make a connection to expand my network. Something else you can do is seek mentorship. More experienced individuals are an extremely valuable resource. They can oftentimes connect you with other experienced individuals and maybe even hiring managers. Something I like to use is Discord servers. TryHackMe as well as HackTheBox have pretty nice Discord servers with a large community. So I will go onto those servers and ask to compete in CTFs with people, or just for fun. And I've actually met a fair amount of people doing this, people that are self-starters and go-getters. Something else you can do is post on LinkedIn asking to connect with your network. Oftentimes people will reach out to you, and you can have some pretty interesting conversations in doing that. Landing your first job, something I will emphasize again and again, is networking. All of my jobs that I've received are through networking, because just shooting your resume out into the void on LinkedIn, it's really hard to get noticed, especially when there's like 500 applicants on a job. There's a large competition, and there's a chance that the hiring manager won't even see your resume. So having it in and having someone that can refer you is extremely valuable. Target startups or nonprofits for experience. You can go to something like a local church or maybe Red Cross or something nearby that's a very small program and ask to assess their cyber posture. If possible, you can do it for free, maybe, or request a very low salary. I do understand that lots of you guys are career switchers. You may have full-time jobs, you may have families. However, what you can do is if you have free time that you're spending on studying, maybe substitute that free time with an actual job so you can build job experience for your resume. I'm sure you guys have seen lots of those entry-level job postings, that are like 3 years of experience and all that and that sort of thing. So you can actually build up experience prior to that. Acing your job interview. Once you've applied to that job and you've gotten your job interview, it's important to study your employer beforehand. You want to actually understand what their business model is, as well as what their core values are. Oftentimes, employers will have a page on their website discussing their mission and discussing what ethics they value, what kind of people they look for, and it's important to study that. Practice common interview questions. We all know the basic questions, what are your strongest skills and weakest, and that sort of thing. So study those. And in addition to that, you can look through the job posting and actually research common terminology within that job posting. Make sure you fully understand it, and make sure you study it. So that way, in the case that they present you with any questions based around that, which they likely will, you want to be prepared. Ask thoughtful questions. At the end of every interview, they generally ask if you have any questions. And you want to come prepared with questions maybe about the company, maybe about something discussed in the interview, because it shows that you have a high level of interest in the company, and as well that you're actually a go-getter. You study beforehand and you prepare for things that you're trying out for. Thank you, guys. Do you have any questions? Yeah, sure. So the question was how to add CTFs to your resume. Something I would suggest is if you placed high, obviously put that. And in addition to that, let's say you didn't place overly well. You could say what skills you learned, what skills you exhibited on this CTF, as well as just having the CTF that you competed on there, I think is a great addition to your resume because it shows that you're going and doing things outside of work. It shows that you have a passion for it and an actual interest. One, you're probably a lot smarter than you think you are. You're actually doing cybersecurity within your second year of community college, where most people that are just going through a normal degree program, they haven't even touched on their actually, they haven't touched on the actual purpose of their degree until like junior, senior year, you know? Um, so props to you for that. Also, I mean, I think you can do lots of self-studying. I assume that, is that what you do now, mostly? Or is it taught through your community college as well? Okay. I would recommend, again, my primary resource, try HackMe. Majority of it's free. They have lots of different courses walking you down specific job paths. For example, if I want to be a SOC analyst, they'll teach you how to use Splunk and teach you how to do maybe packet analysis and that sort of thing. Yeah, there's also anti-siphon training by Black Hills. You know, they're here. They're a pretty good resource. I know John Strand puts out his SOC core skills, or whatever it's called, and I believe it's free. So that may be a good option for you as well. Yeah, yeah, me too. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, those are definitely great resources. Yeah, yep. As you can see, there are lots of great resources just from those around you. So, yeah, after this talk, you're gonna get like swarmed. What was your question there? Yep, back there. Okay. Well, thank you all for coming to my talk. Feel free to come up and approach me and talk to me after if you'd like. Thank you.